World Combat Games Women's 64 kilogram gi division breakdown. So here I am shaking hands, and the match starts. We slap and bump, and we start fighting for grips. I had seen this girl's matches before. I'd seen some of her matches in Poland, so I knew there was a high likelihood she was going to pull guard and or look for an armbar. So I'm trying to just stay prepped for that while I am doing my hand fighting, making sure that I'm being mindful of where my arms are and where I'm at. You can see the ref is giving us the hand motions that we need to pick up the action. And here she jumps to guard, and I managed to stay upright. She's already hunting for that armbar, pushing on my head, but I'm doing my best to stay squared up with her hips and not let her cut her angle. Under the UWW rule set, you get a 2-point deduction for pulling guard. So here I am up 2-1. She gets back to her feet, and we are back to grip fighting. She goes for a little sacrifice throw, but I am ready for it, and so I'm able to stuff her and pick up her leg for a single leg. I, at the time, was not super confident in finishing my single legs, so I ran her out of the circle, and she jumped to guard. Under the UWW rule set, if you are able to shoot someone out of the ring, you get a point. So I think she pulled to guard to avoid giving up that push out point if she was planning on pulling to guard anyway. So then, because she pulled to guard, I get another 2 points, which means I am now up 4-0. They reset us back in the middle in the guard restart position, and I am looking to break her guard open and pass. She is looking to either sweep or submit. She starts to throw her leg over my head to look for that armbar, but again, I had seen some of her matches in Poland and knew it was coming, so I managed to get my grips in, keep my arm bent, and start to stack her on her head. She goes to reset her guard and then try to cut her hips again to reset for that armbar, but I again keep my arm bent, I stack her up, and I use my right knee as a wedge behind her hips to be able to prevent her from cutting her hips back down. I'm able to get my arm free. I reset in her guard, trying to stay nice and squared up with her. Since the guard is open, I'm doing my best to keep that guard open and not let her wrap her legs back up around me. I have to be really careful here because UWW rules, they are very quick to call stalling on the top player who is trying to pass. So if you aren't passing very quickly, you can start to rack up stalling deductions very quickly. Because I'm aware of this rule and I really don't want to lose any points for stalling, I decide to abandon the pass and set up for my leg lock position and settle into the saddle. I'm ideally looking to get to the game over position and start to hit a toe hold. Under the UWW rules, there are no heel hooks, but you are allowed to do virtually any other leg lock besides heel hooks. So I just like that toe hold from that game over position. You can get a lot of torquing power. But you can see here she's doing a good job of grabbing onto my lapel, staying nice and tight and close to me so that I'm having a difficult time transitioning between leg lock positions and trying to get to her feet. She is trying to come up and stack into me and secure a top position while I'm trying to use my legs to wedge against her and create enough space that I can start to attack for my leg locks. At some point here, I give up a point. I believe it was for stalling, but to be honest, I am not really sure. So currently the score is 4-1 in my favor. Here she starts to get the better of me in my positioning. You can see that she's able to start to stack up into me. I still am secured around her leg and am looking to see if I can try to invert around her leg, but I didn't do a very good job and she's able to start to flatten me out. Due to the change in positions, she gets 2 points for the sweep and the score is now 3-4 in my favor. She is looking to try to pass. As you can see, I still have my legs wrapped around her legs, so she's looking to pass either to some type of side control position or full mount. She's also looking for some of these weird little lapel chokes, but I am defending those. I never really felt like I was in any real danger with any of those lapel chokes, and I am just trying to prevent her from getting a pass. We are getting pretty short on time at this point, so I am just trying to hang on to my lead, and she is looking for points desperately. She attempts this nice little bolo, but I am able to prevent her from taking my back. I have been put in the truck way too many times to be baron boloed at the last minute. That was not going to happen. I was not going to let that happen. So I was able to prevent her from getting points from my back, and the time runs out, and I win the match 4-3. Listen, I have never been more relieved to win a match in my entire life. Oh my gosh. If you have been following me for a while, you know this is my third international tournament that I've done, and I have lost 5 international matches. I've never won a match on the international stage before, and even though it was a close match, I was so relieved and so proud of this moment, and it makes me really, really happy. All right, match number 2. I missed recording the first little bit of this match. Clearly, it is not going my way. Basically, I pulled guard, and then she was able to get to this quarter guard position, and she is working to pass while I am trying to push her knee back through to regain my half guard. She is doing a really good job of maintaining her top pressure. I am basically just hanging on to her foot for dear life. However, I am able to thwart her ability to pass to full mount. She is looking to cross face and get her hips high so she can pull that foot out, but I am managing to keep that foot trapped and not let her pass. I'm also trying to keep my elbows nice and tight so that she cannot start to attack for submissions from here as well. We continue to struggle in this position for a while. I am not able to get to half guard, but she is also not able to pass. Because she is having a difficult time getting her foot free and passing to mount, she starts to attack at my lapel and come around to the back instead of continuing to try to pass to mount. She continues fighting for better positioning and continues to try to secure her position around my back. You can see she's staying really tight to my back as I try to move around and escape, while also still hunting for my lapel to attack for the bow and arrow. At this point, I'm hoping to escape this sort of combat base back position by going to deep half guard because I still have her ankle, but because she has my lapels, it's making it very, very difficult for me to transition to that deep half. I'm having to be incredibly mindful of her grips on my lapel because she is looking to get a bow and arrow choke from this position. She does a really good job of maintaining that grip and starts to adjust in for her choke. I keep trying to fight it for as long as I can, trying to reach up and grab onto that hand, but she is able to eventually finish her choke. There's me tapping. I was disappointed to lose, but she's a really accomplished German black belt, and she actually wound up winning the whole thing, so at least I lost to somebody good. On to my bronze medal match against Kazakhstan. She does a really good job of stuffing anything that you try to do, which makes it really difficult in the stand-up position. I was trying to get in on a single leg, but she was doing a good job keeping her hips far enough back and using her grips to keep me away. We were both starting to get stalling warnings from the referee, and so I wanted to make sure that we made some action happen. So from here, because she was pushing her weight kind of into me and I was having trouble getting in on that single leg, I decide to go for a little front trip, but she stuffed it and wound up in my guard, which means I give up 2 points. I am fighting to keep my knee in to prevent her from getting the pass and to try to get my guard back, and she is looking to get around my legs, which she is able to do, and she secures 3 points for the pass, meaning that the score is now 5-0 in her favor. From here, she is looking to try to knee cut across to mount, but I'm able to catch her foot in quarter guard, and then I am using that to get my knees back in, and I am able to get my guard back. I am looking to try to pull her into my closed guard to hunt for sweeps and submissions. She is looking to try to pass again. As she starts to come around, I try to keep my knees and my legs in between us, and then eventually as she comes around, I decide to come up to my knees to prevent her from getting pass points. I keep fighting to get off of my side. She is trying to flatten me out to get her points, but I am able to come up to my knees and I'm in on her leg. From here, I am looking to try to hit a single leg. However, she's doing a really good job of keeping her hips heavy on my head and keeping me flattened out. This prevents me from being able to cut my angle to start to work for my single leg. She's able to dig an underhook and she's able to flatten me out and get her 3 points. That means that the score is now 8-0 in her favor. She settles in her position and is looking to knee cut to mount, but is taking her time trying to pin me to the mat because last time she tried to do that, I got my guard back. You can see the ref is motioning to her that she needs to keep moving. You can see I'm trying to trap her foot, but am unable to, and she continues to say in side control. Like I said before, this rule set is very heavy on calling stalling calls, so she has to keep moving in order to avoid calling stalling. She tries to pass over to mount, and I'm able to regain my guard. Here we are fighting for grips, and she is looking to try to pass my guard again. As she starts to come around, I start to look for my false reap, and I am trying to butterfly sweep her over or come inverted underneath and sweep her over. You can see I'm around her leg, but she's doing a good job of staying heavy and gripping on my lapel hard so that I am not able to sweep her over. I am doing my best again to keep trying to come up underneath her or elevate her, but she is trying to flatten me out and prevent me from getting underneath her and going for my sweep. You can see the ref starts to give her some stalling warnings. She starts attacking for like this little lapel choke. It's not really there, but if someone is going for a submission, you cannot call them for stalling. So I think that's why she was going for this, is she was just trying to prevent getting stalling calls. You can see he's still calling her for stalling because she's not really doing anything. And here he calls her for stalling, and I am awarded a stalling point. So the score is now 8-1 in her favor. I am able to create some space and get my guard back, and here I know that I am running really short on time, so I throw up for a armbar. I am not able to secure the armbar, so I start to hunt for other things. She's just kind of stalling here still, so you'll see the ref start to give her motions that she needs to make something happen. I am able to wrap my closed guard back up and immediately attack for an armbar because I'm really short on time, but I'm not able to get it, and she starts to come around to pass, and she is able to stall out that last little bit of time, and I lose 8-1. Obviously, I was pretty disappointed to be so close to the medal stand and lose, but this was such an amazing opportunity that I am so grateful for. I got to meet some really cool people from other teams. I also got to compete with the American team with Tammy and Chris. They're both amazing athletes, and they both won bronze. I was also able to get my first win on the international stage, which was incredible and one of the best feelings I've ever felt. And I felt a lot of improvement over my last couple international tournaments, and I think I'm just going to keep on getting better from here. So, thanks for watching.